Hey, what's up guys and gals, and welcome to another great product spotlight video brought to you by Alur Vapor. Got Joe here again, bringing you another wonderful product introduction and a tutorial on something that has not left my hand since I received it. And it kind of looks familiar. I'm sure you guys have seen something like this before. It looks very similar to a Soren. However, this is not a Soren. This is the Slik. So today we're going to go ahead and take an up-close look at this product. I'll tell you a little bit more about it and we'll see how it works. All right, and there she is as promised, ladies and gentlemen, the Slik. So what this is a pod style device, like I said, very similar to the Soren. However, it is not the Soren. For those of you that are fans of the Soren, I'm sure you're gonna love it. My experience with the Soren has been great, but this is definitely something that caught my eye, something that's a little different. And you know, like I said, it just hasn't left my hand since I received the package from EC Supply. So for those of you that aren't familiar with EC Supply is a hardware and juice distributor, and gentleman over there by the name of Ansley, somebody that we work with, frequently turned me on to these, and I gotta say I'm absolutely in love with it, which is why we're bringing you this video today. So let's go ahead and break it down. You can see it comes in this box here, nice little carton style box, very clearly labeled. Slik. You can see the picture of the device on the front, and I mean that is just about, yeah, it's exactly the size of the device here. And for a size comparison, you know, you've got your bottle of juice and your Slik. You can see how tiny it is. I mean, really compact device, really easy to carry around, not too big, not too bulky, but it still gets the job done. And I kind of, you know, feel like that's where everyone's at with these things nowadays. You got two cartons inside, one with extra pods, another one with the actual device itself, and you can already see the difference right off the bat between the pods. So the Soren is a top loaded pod style system. It's got a rectangular or squared, or depending on if you're using the drip, that pod's also different. These are long, thin pods, and I will show you how those attach. Inside here we have the Slik device. Very straightforward instruction manual that will tell you everything you need to know about using this device. It breaks down the battery level indicator for you as well, telling you what the lights mean as far as the charge on the battery. It tells you how to set it up. It gives you weights, dimensions, tank capacities, all of that sort of good stuff. So that is very helpful. We have the Slik device itself, the battery. You can kind of see that it's got this very texturized, rubbery finish, and it just feels really good in your hand. The Soren to me felt a little plasticky. It just didn't have the same feel. The shape of it was a little different as well. Like I said, nothing against the Soren, but this is definitely different. It just feels really good in the hand. It's very grippy. You can kind of drop it. It's not going to get damaged. So we got the battery in there. The battery is a 400 mAh battery. Typically, I've been running higher nicotine levels in these. I've been running anything from 24 to 45. They are designed to use with nic salts. However, you can use any juice in these. You do not have to use a nic salt juice, which is great because Alur Vapor makes all sorts of juices, and any of those juices will work in there. It's all preference. We got our USB cable here. I've been seeing a lot more of these guys coming with these style of devices, these pod styles. So this may look a little bit different than most of your normal USB connections. So it's going to connect to that USB port on your computer or into your wall charger. However, it fits. I promise you that fits. It looks skinny, it looks weird, but that connection will fit. So just plug it right on in there just like you would a normal USB. Now this does have, like I said, a 400 mAh battery. The thing that originally turned me off about this device was I wasn't using high enough nicotine levels. So I was a heavy smoker, so I needed to really get up there to get that nicotine in. But the vape on it is so great, and the vapor production is so great with the flavor as well, that I wanted to vape on this all day long. So if you're gonna vape on this thing really heavy, you're gonna get about 2 hours out of it. And that was a little frustrating to me, and Ansley was kind enough to explain that that's not really the way it works. So I upped my nicotine, and I've been getting about 4 hours now out of this 400 mAh battery. The thing that blew me away was the charge rate. So this thing will charge in 30 minutes, and I didn't believe him when he told me that, but it does. And I had that full charge back 30 minutes later. Both of these are actually my own personal units. We're using one for the purposes of this video, but I carry 2 around, and I'm good to go all day long. So half-hour charging time with only a 1 amp charging rate, which is phenomenal. And I'm getting a full charge. I don't feel like the battery's not charging properly. And that was just amazing to me. So we've got our battery there. Inside, we have the pods themselves. Let's go ahead and open these up. You can see I kind of already tore into them. I was kind of excited when I got this device to get started using it, so I kind of just tore it apart. So this pod right here, this is going to be a brand new pod. You can see the rectangular shape to it, and it's going to be a little difficult to see on the video, but they're built really well. So this pod right here at the corner, you're going to have your mouthpiece. Here, this little plug is going to be your fill hole, and it's a very large fill hole, which I really like because a lot of these pod style devices are very difficult to fill because of that tiny fill hole. And I haven't had that issue with this. The one thing I thought was interesting was the way they built the pods, the way the wicking is set into the bottom of this pod. So it's a pressurized system, so it's a top-down feed, which makes sure that you're really wicking properly. And the wick in there is a really nice size, which at first kind of threw me for a minute because I'm thinking, man, I am not going to be able to use this efficiently with any juice I want. This is going to be strictly 50-50 or just nic salts, which has not been the case. I've had 3 milligrams, 6 milligrams, 70-30, max VG, and I've never had any burnt hits. The other thing that kind of concerned me was the fact that there was so much of a wick that I was going to have to sit here and wait for this pod to get primed for like a good 5-10 minutes. And I know 5-10 minutes doesn't seem like a lot, but when you get a new device and you're excited about using it, I want to use it right away. And while I was trying to prime it after I filled it by puffing here, I forgot that it was attached and it was an auto fire, and it had been sitting for maybe 2 minutes and had wicked completely. No burnt hit, no dry hit, full flavor, good vapor, and I'm still using that same pod. So from my experience, you're probably going to get about 6 to 8 fills out of these pods. I've been using mine pretty heavily for about a week, and I'm probably just about that 8 mark now, but still no burnt hits, which is phenomenal. As you can see here, also a little different than the Soren, got a magnetic pods. So inside of the battery here, there are magnets, there are contacts, and you will line up those contacts just like that. And you can't really put this on wrong because the battery has a very distinct shape up here with this edge that lines up perfectly with the edge on the pod. So it only can go on one way. And it just snaps into place. And to me, that's pretty nifty. Compact, very easy to use, very stylish. Is that good fill, and that magnetic battery pod, it just kind of sealed it for me. And they are very strong, very durable magnets. When you push them on top of each other, you can kind of see the resistance in the way the batteries will spin. So I mean, they're good, strong magnets, and I can't really say enough good things about this. Let's go ahead and fill it up and show you what that process is like. I'll show you a few little tricks that Ansley from EC Supply was nice enough to show me that really improved my experience with this device. Always got my needle tip handy for my Mount Baker Vapor juice. I just like to keep things clean, and it makes filling a pod device very easy to do. You can pick these up at emptybakervapor.com for about $1. I always recommend, especially if you're buying a pod style system, but even with some tanks that don't really have the greatest fill holes on them, whether they be top fill, bottom fill, whatever the case may be, these are always handy to have around. And you just pop that top nipple cap off, screw this right on, and it's as easy as that. These pods do hold 2 mils of juice. It looks like it holds more, but I gotta tell you, the 2 mil capacity that it has, using this 1.5 ohm coil that is built into the pod, it's perfect. I mean, I don't find myself running to fill this up, you know, 4, 5, 6 times a day. It doesn't guzzle juice, which is good. And from the way the wicking is built in, and even with the 1.5 ohm coil, some of the pod styles I've seen out there, you know, you got to fill them up a good 4 or 5 times a day. And usually I only fill mine up 2, max maybe 3. But like I said, I do carry 2, so that could be a part of that. We've got the large fill hole here. So we're just going to insert our needle tip in and give it a squeeze. And it's a little slow going, but it's staying nice and clean. You can see right through the pod, so you know when you're getting full. We're almost there. And that's all there is to it. And today we are using Extreme Ice. Extreme Ice is a great spearmint menthol wintergreen flavor for those of you that love menthol or want something with a great cooling effect. Extreme Ice is where it's at. A 50-50 blend is going to work fantastic in here. 30-70 is going to work great as well because you're going to get that throat hit. You can use any juice you want in there. Any blend will wick very well in these. However, I would say 50-50, 70-30, higher milligrams nicotine. Depending on what you use now, I would say try an 18 or a 24 and you're really going to get that nic fix that you need. You're going to get that throat hit. It's going to be an enjoyable all-day vape. And I find that cooling flavors with menthol, something like Extreme Ice, it works really well for me in these pod style devices. So now that we're all filled, what we're going to do is we're going to apply pressure here with this plug underneath the hole or over on top of the hole. And then you're going to want to tip it so that the juice is bubbling upwards towards that wick. And then you press down and in. And I kind of left it there for a minute, so I made a little bit of a mess. And that's not normally going to happen. All you're trying to do is you want to press it down into the hole, flip it, and then push that in. And that really helps to pressurize these cartridges. It ensures that you're not going to get any spit back. You're going to get that thick, dense, flavorful vapor on every single draw. And it really did help. I wasn't doing that before, and Ainsley was kind enough to show me how to do that. Really improved my experience with this device, and it's very, very easy to do. And I'm covered in juice now. That's okay. We'll push on. And then, like I said, you've got this battery connection here for the pod, and it only fits in one way, and boom, you just snap it right into place. Button right here on the side is not for firing. This is an auto fire device, so it is draw activated. When you take a puff on it, you're going to get vapor, but you will have a button over here on the side, which is for turning the device on and off. And underneath, there is a battery light that will light up here. That is your battery indicator light. That'll tell you whether or not the device is on or off. It'll flash when you turn it on and off. And it will also tell you how much battery life you have left. So green, I believe, is 100 to 70. Blue is like 70 to 30. And then anything below 30, it obviously needs to be charged. And the light will turn red. You're going to get a few puffs on it after that red indicator. It's never a good idea to drain your battery completely. And like I said, you know, get 2. You always have that nice little backup. And it only takes a half hour to charge. Nice, compact, sleek, feels good, heavy. It's just an all-around great pod style device, perfect for those people looking to make that transition. So what we're going to do now is head back up, have a vape on it, talk about it, and see what this thing's all about. All right, and there she is, ladies and gentlemen, the Slik mount-to-lung style refillable pod device. You can see the size of that. I mean, this thing like fits in the palm of my hand. It's insane how tiny this is and how portable. You got a dress shirt pocket or something, you want to slip it in there. You can't even tell this thing's in your pocket. You can walk around with it all day. You can walk around with two all day, which is what I do, you know. A little double fisting action. It's always kind of fun, kind of nice. You never want to be without, you know, your vape. You want to stay off the cigarettes, and this is the best way to do it. And this is a perfect device for making that transition. It is a strict mouth-to-lung style device with a great mouth-to-lung draw. So for those of you very familiar with the pull on a cigarette, the way that draw feels, this is almost exactly like it. I've never had anything like this. So that might take some getting used to for people expecting to be able to do a generous inhale, almost like a generous mouth-to-lung or a direct-to-lung hit. You want to be focused and you know, and just kind of purse your lips on there, a nice gentle pull. Strict, tight, just like a cigarette, and you can see the amount of vapor I'm getting out of this, and that throat hit's fantastic, especially with that extreme ice. Like I said, in the pod style devices, I'm really a big fan of mentholated flavors or something like that extreme ice with that cooling flavor. I want that throat hit, and it's perfect. I mean, the flavor I'm getting off here is phenomenal too. You can see the light at the bottom, how it lights up when you draw on it. It's your battery life indicator. And I gotta tell you, I'm really impressed. I'm really glad that Ansley over at EC Supply turned me onto this, and I just don't have enough good things to say about it. I mean, for crying out loud, I have two of them. You know, and if you want to grab yourself two as well, you know where to do it. At your one-stop vape shop online, MT Baker Vapor. Make sure that you pick yours up. I guarantee you're going to love it. We have a great return policy, but you're not going to be returning this device. Like I said, you're going to be buying 2 or 3, and you'll probably pick up some juice while you're here because we got everything you need. So I really hope that was helpful. I really hope that you guys can feel how much I enjoy this device, and I really hope that you enjoy yours as well. And as always, we appreciate you tuning in. Make sure to follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, the Gram, Instagram. Make sure you check that out as well. And we'll be sure to bring you more great product spotlight videos from Mount Baker Vapor. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.